Probable
A
cause.
judge out here buying fruit?
Yes, and you're violating federal law.
You don't look like someone who belongs anywhere near a bench.
Everything you're doing.
Fictional narrative. The Saturday stop. The farmer's mark on Briarcliff Lane had always been peaceful. White canvas tents lined the sidewalk in neat rows. Crates of peaches and nectarines glowed under the early Virginia sun. The smell of fresh bread drifted through warm air as neighbors greeted each other by name. It was 9:15 on a Saturday morning, the kind of morning when nothing bad was supposed to happen. Judge Naomi A. Coleman stood at her favorite fruit stand, gently pressing a peach to test its ripeness. She wasn't wearing her judicial robe. She wasn't seated behind the polished mahogany bench of a federal courtroom. She was dressed in a linen blouse and sandals, sunglasses resting on her head, a canvas tote over her shoulder. For once, she was simply a woman buying fruit. For 11 years, she had presided over constitutional cases that shaped civil rights law. Her written opinions were cited in appellate courts across the country. Law students studied her rulings. Attorneys respected her precision. But none of that was visible that morning. 40 feet away, an unmarked black SUV idled at the curb. 2 federal enforcement agents sat inside. Agent Bryce Keller had built his reputation on what he called proactive street enforcement. His supervisors praised results. Critics questioned his patterns. Complaints had followed him, always dismissed, always buried in internal reviews. His partner, Dominic Perez, followed his lead without question. They had been scanning the area for an individual described in a bulletin. Male, mid-20s, average height. Judge Coleman matched none of those descriptors. Still, Keller stepped out of the vehicle. He approached with the quiet authority of someone accustomed to being obeyed. "Ma'am, identification." Judge Coleman looked up, surprised but composed. "On what basis?" she asked calmly. "We're conducting enforcement activity in the area." She set the peaches down gently. "I am a United States citizen," she said evenly. "What is your probable cause?" The question shifted the air. Perez moved slightly behind her, blocking the walkway. Nearby, shoppers slowed. A vendor froze mid-transaction. Keller's tone hardened. "Produce identification." "I am not required to present immigration documents without cause," she replied. "I am a federal judge. My credentials are my vehicle." He laughed. It wasn't uncertainty. It was dismissal. "They all say something," he muttered. Within seconds, the peaceful rhythm of the market shattered. Keller grabbed her arm. The folding table collapsed as she was forced forward. Peaches scattered across pavement. Gasps echoed through the tents. Phones appeared. Recording began. She did not resist. She stated her name, her title, her court. Zip ties tightened around her wrists. "She can sort it out at processing," Keller said. The SUV door shut. The market fell silent. The detention. Judge Coleman sat upright in the back seat during the 40-minute drive. She did not argue. She memorized every word spoken, every action taken, every violation. At the facility, she was photographed, processed, and placed in a holding cell. 90 minutes later, she was granted a phone call. Her husband, a retired Army officer, answered immediately. Within an hour, senior judicial officials were notified. Within 2 hours, federal oversight authorities were on the phone. When the facility's supervisor realized who was sitting inside that holding cell, the gravity of the situation was immediate. She was released after 2 hours and 47 minutes. She made 2 requests. Preserve all body camera footage. Provide the full names and badge numbers of everyone involved. Then she left. The investigation. Video from bystanders spread quickly. Body camera footage was secured. Witness statements aligned with remarkable consistency. Internal reviews uncovered troubling patterns, disproportionate stops, prior complaints, and ignored recommendations for oversight reform. A grand jury returned indictments weeks later. Charges included civil rights violations, unlawful detention, and falsified reporting. The trial was brief. The footage was clear. The audio was undeniable. The jury deliberated less than 5 hours. Guilty on all counts. Sentencing. At sentencing, Judge Coleman delivered a measured statement. She spoke not of anger, but of principle. She described the sound of zip ties tightening, the humiliation of a holding cell. The realization that constitutional protections mean little when bias overrides judgment. She ended with, "The Constitution does not shrink in public spaces." The presiding judge imposed federal prison sentences. Civil litigation followed. Structural reforms were mandated. Documented probable cause requirements. Independent oversight. Real-time body camera audits. Credential verification protocols. The settlement was substantial, but reform mattered more. 1 year later. The following summer, Judge Coleman returned to the same farmer's market. Linen blouse, sunglasses, canvas tote. She picked up a peach. No one stopped her. No one questioned her presence. The market felt ordinary again. And sometimes, in a constitutional democracy, ordinary is the victory.